This video is going to show you how to write data to a file. The process is similar to reading data from a file. You're going to create a file output stream object, open the file, check for file errors, process the file, and that's when you write the data to the file, and then you're going to close the file. If we go to our Visual Studio project with Zoo, the #include fstream stays the same because fstream is generic for both input and output files. And if I scroll down, I have actually kept all of the code from before using vectors. And I've just added at the bottom here the section of code here that demonstrates writing to a file. So we have to create an output file stream object. And if I know at the beginning of the program that I'm going to both read and write from a file, we might set it up differently. But for right now, this is going to be probably the easiest things for you to do. But you can create this output file stream object if you know you're going to create an output file right at the beginning of your program. You could put it up here if you want to. And I would probably recommend that. But just to keep everything all in one place, I put it all here at the bottom of the code. Then you're going to open the output file, and what's a little bit different about opening an output file is this actually creates and erases any old files. So sometimes you will see in the textbook examples that they don't check to see if that file was created, but I would still recommend that you check to see if the file was created. For whatever reason, if it failed, then you will have an error message here. And then we're going to have our else statement, and we're going to use zoovector.size. So again, I'm using that vector. I'm using the .size method, which is very nice when I'm not sure how much data that I have. And I'm going to, instead of doing a count statement, I'm repeating exactly what gets put to the screen or the console, and I'm going to use outFile. So this is just like a count statement, except it's outFile to the data file. And then you close the file like we did before. So you open, process it, check for errors before you process, and then close the file. Now some of my indentation has gotten off, and I wanted to just double check or show you again that you can change that. If you go to View, actually I need to look for where the debug, it's either View Advanced or Debug Advanced, Edit. One of these menus is going to have the shortcut for formatting that code, and I just need to find it. Edit, Advanced, Format Document. Kind of watch the screen there and see how it reformats stuff so that the indentation is correct. Also, I like to stick with the style where the curly brace always starts on the next line down. You can develop a little bit of your own style, but in general, you want to make sure that it's consistent. Okay, and I do use a kind of a traditional style, I would say, for C++ here. Some of you might adopt more of a Java type style, but again, as long as you're consistent, I'm not going to worry about that. So this created an output file, but we don't see it, and so we need to find it. If I want to find the file, I'm going to go to File, Open, and choose File. And then, depending upon, this is opening up the project folder. If you look at my path name, I've got my projects for Spring 2017, my Zoo example, and then it's inside the Zoo example folder, and there's this Zoo report file. If I double click on that, it opens up Zoo report, which is my data file that I just created. In order to verify that the program is actually working the way that I think it is, I'm going to pop off one of the items from the vector up here. So I'm going to, which would then give me 3 items in my vector. So I'm going to do Zoo vector, and I use the tab there to go ahead and access those commands. I'm going to do pop back. I'm going to run the code again, and it should erase that previous file, Zoo report, and only have 3 items written to it. So I'm going to go back and open that file, I'm going to open Zoo Report again, and it should have 3 items. It says that it has 4. So let's go back and investigate. One thing I did not do is I did not close this file, and I don't know if that makes a difference. And so now it ran with 3. I'm going to File, Open, and go to File. I think I actually opened it before the project ran. And so my Zoo Report now has 3 items in it instead of 4. So I just jumped the gun a little bit soon on that. Now if I would want to, if I want to see that over here in my resources files, I can right click and add an existing item. And just add Zoo Report. And then it should show up over here in my resource files. And if I double click on it, it should open up. If I want it to be named as a .txt file, which I prefer that, then I need to make sure that I add that here when I create it. So let me add the .txt, and we will run the project one more time. We got 3 items to the screen. If I go to my resource files and I add an existing item, zooreport.txt, remove the other item, I'm just going to delete it actually, then my Zoo Report should have my output, and it's 3 because I popped back 1 off. So that gives you an example of how to write out to a file, and you will in your semester project be doing like a end of the month report, or you'll be doing some type of a report that you'll have to report out and write out to a file.